Have you ever pulled a pan of brownies from the oven only to discover they're either burnt around the edges or gooey in the middle? Or maybe they're stuck to the pan and fell apart when you try to cut them? We've all been there, staring at what should have been a delicious dessert that now looks like more of a chocolate disaster. The good news is that even with a simple box mix, you can create bakery quality brownies that are perfectly fudgy, evenly baked, and cut into beautiful squares. Today I'm here to share game-changing techniques that will transform your brownies from kitchen disasters to crowd pleasers. Let's start with the foundation of a great brownie by preparing your pan in your oven. First, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Then, you want to be able to choose the right pan size for your mix. Most box mixes are designed for an 8x8 or a 9x9 inch pan. So today I'm using an 8x8 pan, and with that, you want to be able to use the correct pan size just so it doesn't affect the baking time or the texture of your brownie. So you want to begin by greasing your pan thoroughly with butter or cooking spray, covering every corner and edge completely. Then set that pan to the side. You want to then begin by gathering all your ingredients before you mix. For this simple brownie mix, all you're going to need is 2 eggs, then you're going to need some canola oil, some coffee, a medium-sized bowl, and some Betty Crocker brownie mix, and chocolate chips. The recipe does call for water, but I like to use coffee instead to add some flavor to the brownies. So after gathering all of your supplies, you then want to measure about half a cup of oil and 3 tablespoons of coffee. So with that, as you're adding all your ingredients inside of your bowl, you want to make sure that as you're adding all the 2 ingredients together, you want to mix them together thoroughly, and then add your brownie mix gradually. So with that, as you're adding your brownie mix to the mix, you want to make sure that you add it correctly so that it prevents the lumps from the mix. So after mixing and adding your ingredients together, you then want to combine your eggs within the mix. So as you're starting to mix it, you want to make sure that your mix is completely smooth and there's no lumps left from the baking flour. So as I'm mixing this together, and it's all coming together, I want to make sure that all of the ingredients are just mixing perfectly so that it comes out smooth. So as I keep mixing, I like to add some chocolate chips in, just so I can have that chocolatey thick texture. So after everything is completely mixed together, and you then want to start pouring and bringing your pan back, the butter pan that we made earlier, and you want to start adding your mixture in with that. So as you're pouring it into the pan, once you get everything mixed in, at this point your oven should be preheated, and then you can carefully place your brownies inside the center of the rack just to help the brownies to be baked evenly. So once you're able to put them inside, you then want to allow them to bake 15 to 20 minutes for them to fully form. You can set a timer for every 5 minutes before the minimum baking time, just so this allows you to check progress without over baking. After the brownies have been in the oven, you want to check by using the toothpick method to make sure your brownies are ready. You don't always have to use a toothpick. You can use a utensil or anything sharp just so that it doesn't mess up the texture and can still be used to check if your brownies are ready. So carefully, you want to pull out your pan out of the oven, and I've already prepared a pan of brownies that are made. You want to stick your toothpick or your utensil 2 inches from the edge, not in the center, just to make sure that the batter doesn't, like I said, the texture isn't messed up and the batter can be checked correctly. So a few key points whenever you're checking your batter: you want to make sure that your batter is not too wet and isn't sticking too much to your utensil, but it's not too crumbly to the point that your batter comes out dry. So once you stick your toothpick in or your utensil, you then pull it out. It should be able to come off at least easily, but it also still can stick to it and be moist. So with that, The surface should at least also look a little bit dry, but once you're able to see that your brownies are done, you can turn your oven off and let your brownies cool for at least 2 hours. So since I've already prepared a pan of brownies, they're already cool, and so what I like to do is add a little bit of coffee to it to add a little bit of flavor. So with that, take your brownies and you can use a fork to poke holes around your brownie mix, just so you're able to see your brownie mix and your coffee mix and add together. So you just can keep poking around. You want to be able to poke at least 2 inches inside of your brownie just so everything can go inside and all your coffee can mix in. So as you keep poking and as you add you have enough holes in, you can take your coffee and just add it inside and just mix around. So you want to be careful just not to pour too much, or you could risk your brownies becoming soggy. So once you've continued and once you add enough coffee in, or as much as you want to, you then can continue to stop and let that soak in and let it seep through inside your brownie mix just so that it can completely be covered. So once you're able and you added your coffee in, at this point you have completed your brownies. I hope you've learned that perfect brownies aren't always about luck, they're about technique. By mastering proper pan preparation, using the correct mixing method, and accurately testing for doneness, you can transform any box mix into bakery quality brownies that will impress everybody. These 3 essential techniques, pan prep, mixing, and doneness testing, work together to ensure your brownies are perfectly fudgy, evenly baked, and beautifully presented every time. Now the next time you're craving chocolate and reach for that box of brownie mix, you have the confidence and skills to create a brownie so good that people will think you made them from scratch. So go ahead, put these techniques to work, and get ready to become known as the person who makes the best brownies in the group. Thank you.